Heretic is a 2024 horror thriller written and directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods. If those names sound familiar, that's because they wrote the screenplay for A Quiet Place and came up with the story. Now, not only that, they did write and direct 65, starring Adam Driver, and Heretic stars Hugh Grant and Sophie Thatcher. The movie runs for 111 minutes long, and it really flies by the seat of its pants. It had its premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival, and it came out November 8th, 2024. Now, it tells the story of missionaries from the Church of Latter-day Saints who tried to attempt to convert an Englishman. So it's very more so heavy based on religious horror. And now I will say that even it's in that category of religious horror, which is really hard to come by because religious horror is mostly usually possession movies or exorcism films, and the one film to do it best was The Exorcist back in 1973. But this film was so unexpected that it really kept you engaged from the opening scene. And you see the characters of Sister Barnes and Sister Paxton going around the town and trying to talk to people. They get ignored. They do get some discussions. They talk around. But not only that, they just move on. And then they come across this, interesting house, cottage, or so to speak, or whatever you want to call it. And it has an interesting feel and look to it. This is where the movie becomes more interesting. They go to a home that is occupied by Mr. Reed, played by Hugh Grant. And he lets them in, sits down, talks with them, kind of has this demeanor of coming off as soft-spoken, but also an eerie feel to him, but you just can't pinpoint it at all. You will never look at pie. Yes, blueberry pie the same way again after watching this movie. And it's just so intricate and interesting. Every horror movie that I've seen has little details of food, or you see something in everyday life, it'll harken back to that. You see blueberry pie, you'll think about Heretic, which is interesting because I didn't expect Scott Beck and Brian Woods to put that in there like it did. Now, the story is so well done, but it's eccentric in its own way. It is hard not to spoil it because I don't do spoilers in my reviews at all. I want everyone to have that movie theater going experience. The film takes you on a journey that is unimaginable, and it's real. But what is not real, what is real, and finding it out for yourself, because it is psychological more so than a horror thriller. And not only that, it's the first time I've seen a movie that shows small Easter eggs throughout the film, but then near the end, or as the film is progressing, they do close out what these Easter eggs are and how everything harkens back and connects with one another in this intertwining story, which is absolutely mind-blowing. And why it's done, what it has to do with it, it's just so good. I didn't expect this movie to be good at all. But what really drew me to this film when I first saw the trailer and first heard about it is Hugh Grant in a horror movie distributed by A24. A24 has been hitting it out of the ballpark with home runs since the start of their inception with horror films, and they just keep going on, and it's really good. Now, I mean, come on. You hear all three of those things. Hugh Grant, horror movie, A24. That's going to pique your interest, right? Well, it piqued mine. And in one sentence, it will get butts in the seats and it will not disappoint at all. What I also enjoyed about this film a lot was the cinematography. And certain shots looked familiar or was done. I was like, why is this interesting? Why does it look familiar? Because the cinematography was done by Chung Chun-hoon. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it's because he has worked with Park Chan-wook a lot, especially films including Old Boy from 2003. How Scott Beck and Brian Woods got the cinematographer in their grasp to make this film with them was absolutely mind-blowingly brilliant. The film is in my top 10 of 2024, whether it be for horror or the entirety of 2024. Didn't expect it to be in my top 10, but when it got there, I was like, this is where it should be. And it's very rare I put horror films in my top 10 for yearly films. But with Heretic, it's so intricate that it's like, okay, this is really good. This is really interesting. Then you see mazes and ideas and things happening. The film will leave you wanting more after the credits are rolling and after it's over, and it will surely gain a cult following with the word of mouth when it spreads. It's a phenomenal film from start to finish. It will keep you guessing until the very end. And for me, Heretic gets 5 out of 5 stars. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about Heretic, written and directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods and starring Hugh Grant. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? What did you think about the aspect of the story, the longing, the reveals? Were you surprised? Will you look at Pi the same way again after this movie is finished? Did you want more? Or did you think that it gave enough? And do you think that more could be done with this story? Do you think there were plot holes? And do you think that this team of Scott Beck and Brian Woods are a better writer or director? Or are they equal at both? Let me know in the comment section below about all the questions I just asked. And also let me know what rating you would get Heretic. I'm Mr. Filmstock. Thanks so much for tuning in. And I'll see you all in the next review video.